These problems come from a handout titled Adding Integers. Let's talk about adding some integers. And so when we add integers, it's very similar to subtracting. The difference here is that we are going to end up not having to switch any signs like we did with the subtraction. So we start with the -4. This is our starting point. Whatever number we have there to start with, the first number is the value that you're going to put on the number line. So start at -4. This is +4. So I want the opposite of that. So I got to go way back here to -4. Now when we're adding, we're going in the direction of the next integer. So if we're adding negatives, so the negative side, obviously you see this is the direction that you go if you are adding negative numbers. We go this way. And so if we are going to add some positive numbers, then we're going to go off in this direction. Now, again, these are zeros, so you see the positive numbers are off in this way. So if we're adding positives, we go towards the right. Adding negatives, you go to the left. So here we are adding negatives. So it's like starting $4 in debt, and you're adding more debt. You're adding $4 more in debt. So you just borrowed $4 more. So how much are you in debt altogether? Let's figure it out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the left because we are adding -4. So there's 4 spaces, -8's the number. So the rule says that if we have the same sign, we add the numbers, and the sign stays the same. So that's the rule, and that's what I always look at as I look at this rule, because I've done so many of these problems. So I just always go with, okay, they're the same sign, so I just add the numbers, and the sign stays the same. You're just adding more negatives. And so we end up with, in this case, a -8, just as the number line showed us. Here we have a different scenario. Here we're starting at +3. This is our starting point. We start at +3, so this time we're way over here on the positive side. But again, we are adding negatives. So just as I had done before, adding negatives means we need to go in that negative direction. Well, how many spaces? Well, it tells us we're adding -6. So we're going in this direction 6 spaces. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. -3. That's our answer. Well, the rule with addition is if we have opposite signs, we subtract. We're going to end up subtracting the numbers that we have. And the one further from 0, the absolute value, the largest absolute value, is going to be the sign. So we'll just say the number further from 0 determines the sign. So that's the rule that I end up using. And so if we're starting at 3, if I take away 6, I end up at 3. But since I have more negatives than positives, that's going to mean the answer is -3. Well, let's take a look at another problem here. We're starting here at -6 on the number line, and we are going to end up adding positives this time. So again, this is our starting spot. When we add positives, we're going to go to the right. So this is adding +2. So we're going to go to the right because we're getting bigger. It's like being $6 in debt, and you just paid off $2 of your loan. Let's see what we've got. If we go 2 spaces to the right, it's 1, 2. So there it is, -4. So remember the rule. It says opposite signs here. That's what we have. Opposite signs, subtract the 2 numbers. See, it's 6 minus 2 makes 4. However, we are going to have more negatives than positives. See, -6 is further from 0 than +2. So that's why the answer is -4. Because I didn't have enough positives to give me a +4. I only had enough to get me to -4. Let's take a look at the next one here. It's a rule. This is the input, so this is what we're inputting, and then we're going to add 9. So it looks like this. It's basically 0 plus negative 9. So here I'm going to use that rule, opposite signs, so I subtract. 0 doesn't really change anything, so our answer is just negative 9. Over here I'm starting at 21, and I'm adding negative 9. That's what the rule says right here. Well, opposite signs, so subtract. So do 21 minus 9. Well, when you do that work, you end up with an 11, or actually 12. 12. And so now we have to figure out whether it's positive 12 or negative 12. Well, look, we've got more positives. This one is bigger than this one here. This one's further from 0. So that's why we end up with a positive 12. Over here we have 6, positive 6, and we are adding negative 9. Well, if we add negative 9 to that positive 6, we're going to end up subtracting because they're opposite in sign. So we end up going 9 minus 6 gives us 3. However, we have more negatives than positives. See, it's only 6 positives. We've got more negatives, so our answer is going to end up being negative 3 for this one. Well, that's how you add integers. Good luck.